So I came on social media today and I saw this story about this guy that allegedly stole somebody's wallet. Now the story says that he went into Pennywise and took up a basket that contained somebody's purse, and he took out the ID card or the driver's permit from the purse and took pictures of it. And it was said that later on he dropped it off by a Scotiabank branch because he said that in the purse he saw a Scotiabank card, and he said if he carried back to the bank they would contact the person because they would have the people's information on file. And a lot of people call him a scam. They said why he didn't give it to the security guard if he was concerned and whatnot, and why he was snapping it. And some people said, well, he was snapping it because it's social media, everything is social media now, so he was going to put it on social media, which could make sense because right there and then in the store he took the picture of the card. He could have waited if he had other intentions. He could have waited until he went out of the store and do it. But nevertheless, people do strange things that we can't always explain, so I'm not putting my head on a block for anybody. But you know, it brought back memories in my own personal journey when I was accused of stealing something that I didn't steal. But before we go any further, I just want to welcome you guys back to my channel. If you are new here, I'm happy to have you. If you are satisfied with my content, remember to interact with it, subscribe, like, share, and come again. Yes, so I was saying, you know, it brought back memories for me when I was accused of stealing something about 19 years ago. And you know, when I came here and was about to do the recording, I realized my entire aura changed, because I thought, you know, I would have been over this by far, but just the thought of coming to do, because I knew what I was coming to talk about this afternoon, you know, my whole aura changed, and I realized, you know what, you never really got past that. So I was staying at a relative's place. That was about 19 years ago. I went for vacation, and I didn't even want to come back home because, as you all know, I grew up in a strict home. I know you get to go there and you had a bit of freedom, so I didn't really want to come back home, but eventually I had to come back. So when that time was expired, I left and I came back home, and about 3 days after, the closest possible time I got to call, I called, because by that time me and my cousin had gotten really close, and so I wanted to keep in contact. But you know, it's not like now when we have all the cell phone and stuff. It was not as easy to make phone calls and all of that. So it was at the closest available time I called her. And when I called the phone, my younger cousin answered, and he said, you're calling back now? You're calling back now after your thief the girl money to buy her playpen or whatever it was, because she was pregnant. My cousin was pregnant. And he went on, and I asked him, I said, well, I want to talk to my cousin because I didn't do anything. And he said, she don't want to talk to you. If you didn't do nothing, why is only now you call? 3 days after you go up, you call. And I was trying to explain myself, and he was just rude and disrespectful and went on, and then he hung up the phone, I think, on me, if I remember well. And you know, I felt so hurt about that. I remember telling my parents about it, and as you guys know that they are strict people, and I guess they knew that I didn't take the money because their reactions wasn't, you know. And then I guess if I took it, they would have seen some evidence of it, seen me spending money or something. And I was so down about that thing for so long. And I say, is that how these people have me down as a thief? I said I went down there, I had so much fun, and I wanted to even stay, and I even want to come back. You know, I wanted to go back well before that, and that is how they have me down. And I remember the only person that made me feel better about the whole situation that time was my grandmother, because I went by my grandmother after and I told her about it. And what she told me made me laugh. And, you know, it made me feel better. She said, everybody knew you didn't take that money. And I won't say what else she said, you know. But it made me feel better about the entire situation. But still, I was hurt. that they would have thought that. And then my cousin, she never contacted me and said anything up to this day. When we meet, we talk, but it's always this uncomfortable feeling with me. And because I didn't do anything, and it's like it tarnished people's reputation. And so when I heard that today, the entire thing just rushed back to mind. Now, I'm not saying the man had good intent or bad intent, but I'm just saying the entire situation just flood back to mind. Because yes, I stole when I was growing up, because I lived in a place where I had a shop, my mother had a shop, so we used to take Bobby, we used to take a little soft drink, biscuit, 25 cents, 50 cents, high school time, remember we thief $1 or $2. And yes, I ain't saying I didn't do that, but to accuse me of coming by somebody else, growing up how we grew up, and taking money, and that amount of money, because it was money to buy a playpen, they said, it really hurt me. And I said all of that because even after that, when I was living in Tobago for a while, I remember being at a party at Mount Irving Beach, right where I worked. It had a big party in the car park. And I went in one of the sheds during the party and I found a pouch. It was a big enough pouch. And I opened it. And when I opened it, it had a lot of US dollars in it and pounds. I think it was more US than pounds. And it had few cards. And only when I saw the thing, like, I got frightened more than anything else, because I said, somebody come to this party, some tourists come to the party, and with so much money and their identification and whatnot. And I took it and I went to the DJ and I gave the DJ it, and I stayed in that party for a lot of hours after, and I never heard him announce it once. And I was called stupid, foolish, dotish, all kinds of names I was called after, and saying like I don't know money and all different kind of things. But that wasn't how we grew up. That is not how my parents grew us up. So even after that crib incident, that playpen incident, that would have happened, I'm telling you all, and I was my reaction to it. And I don't know if people understand what they do when they do things like this. And I will tell you one more thing. Something happened here. A night I was on my bed praying about after 1 minute to 2. And I heard this loud explosion. It was so loud that the baby fly up on the bed on the side of me in his sleep, but he just laid back down, but just fly up with the explosion. And I got up and I woke up my husband and I said, you heard that? And he was like, no, I didn't hear anything. And I said, I was up praying and I heard this explosion and it sounded like, and it came from that direction. And he said, well, if something happened, you would know the other morning. And so, not the other morning, only I stayed up and I prayed so much, like if I was that child's mother. I prayed so much because I knew where I heard this song from, and I had a fair idea what this song was. And even when the day cleaned him on, I asked my husband, so you ain't going to see? And he said, well, give it some time. I'm not hurried to go across there, because if anything happened and I was to discover, they would treat me like if I'm the criminal. I'll have to answer a lot of questions. And I'm not going through that. It's better if something happened, we would know. And the thing about it, he didn't look at the flip side of that. Because suppose something did happen, but he had the opportunity to save a life. But he chose not to go because he knew at the end of the day, the possibility was that if anything happened, he would have been treated as though he had committed some crime. And years ago in victimology class, I remember our lecturer was giving us some situations, and we had chats, and we were talking about rape victims, and how in Trinidad and Tobago, a lot of rape victims have reported that, when they went to make a report, they felt violated all over again. The kind of questions they were asked is if it was like if they had committed a crime and they were not the victim. And this does something to people. The only thing that come back to my mind, the thought that comes to mind when I think about all of this, is when the Bible says, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And we wonder why we have so many instances where people see things and they don't come forward. Because we have it right here when people go and report things in the police station. By the time they finish report, the police already know who made the report. Not the police, but the person who made the report against already knows from the police who made the report, the person who came and made the report against them. People already know, and so people pull back from these things, they shy back. Sometimes you see something, but you're afraid to go and talk. Because if you say something, your name going and call. When people are supposed to be professional, your name going and call. Yes, you witness a murder, but I know that nobody ain't coming forward to say anything because you line up to get a death, nevertheless, because you are going to do something that you think is right, but you're going to get it. You think you'll get a death rate, so you're not seeing anything. You walk down the street, you see people fighting, and you know somebody could get a death, but you just turn your head the other way because you could get a death too, and you just a medal. You know, you could get injured, so you just don't care. You see a man kicking a woman on the ground, a lot of all they passing, but nobody would even say what's going on, or they can't deal with this some other way. People will just turn their head, and it's like a dog eat dog world. And but we wonder why. Did we just arrive at that overnight? I don't think we arrived at it overnight, but I think by the amount of things people would have been judged for or accused of wrongfully, or the consequences paid for trying to do something good, people are just turned off. And it's sad because, you know, it's just like a dog eat dog world. It's like anything goes. It's like there's a thing that says that something, I can't remember what the thing says, but you know, it's when good men are silent, evil men, whatever it is. You all know what this saying is. And I ask myself, when or is it ever going to stop? Are we just going to continue to judge people on limited information? Like this guy. And as I said, I'm not putting my head on a block for anybody, but are we going to just judge people and possibly tarnish their reputation and character based on what we believe or how we think? Because a lot of people saying that, you know, nah, if he was genuine, he would have done this and he would have done that. But I did that in Tobago, and I never heard them. I was in a party for long after, and I never heard the DJ announce anything. And what was I to do at that point? Go back to the DJ and say, hey, but you didn't announce the thing. Probably I should have done that, but I didn't do that. Different people react differently to different things. I know, as I say that, something come to mind that I forgot. Years ago, I traveled in a car. I think it was a Saturday. Those time I wasn't a Sabbath keeper. I went down to get something. I was young, probably in my teens, and I went to get some stuff in Grandy. And I got in the car, and when I got in the car, the bag I had with everything fell down. And the space was so close, so I bending down like this, just picking up stuff and putting in the bag. And when I reach home and I unpacking my bag later, I saw a camcorder in my bag. And I was like, No, I don't know how the camcorder got in my bag. But when I put it on, I saw the people on the camcorder, and I knew who they were, and I contacted the driver of the vehicle, and I gave it back to him. Right? But people just get accused of things innocently. I mean, in his case, they said that he picked up the basket, and I still don't even know what was his story, seeing the item in it and continued. And even though that was the case, he did what he thought was the best thing based on what he said. What I'm saying is that people respond differently in different circumstances because of experience or because of whatever. Right? So before we talk or we cast blame or we just tarnish somebody's reputation, because his picture is all over Facebook, and I would say now that if he's innocent, I think he should take action against the store, because I mean, the store would have let out the footage, right? And yes, the store supposed to let out the footage, but to the police. And if they did let it out to the police, why did it reach on social media? right? And even if, okay, it's there on social media and you heard his side of the story, because if it's in fact true that he did drop it back by the bank and nothing was stolen or lost, who is to say that he wasn't genuine? Who is to say that? Are they going to issue a public apology? Be careful with people's reputation. Be careful. Be careful with the things that you do to people. And I'm sorry I had to come and sound so, I'm probably kind of down, but as I told you, I know exactly what I was coming to talk about. And the incident just went back to my mind from years ago with that playpen story. And like my entire mood just changed. I never got an apology. I never got anything. And if my granny knew that everybody knew, and she told me why I wasn't me taking money, I was just a scapegoat, come on. I think the least I had deserved was an apology. But this is what we do to people, and we live our lives merrily after that like nothing happened. What a sad world to be living in. What a sad time to be living in. Look, now I could just encourage each of us to do our part. Do our part. Consider yourself in things when you're doing stuff. Consider if it was you, how you would have felt. Be kind to people. Be kind to people and consider people. Everybody going through the stress. Everybody has some sort of thing going through on the plate. They don't need nothing unnecessarily and untrue to their name. And again, I keep saying that I don't know if the man really, whatever it was, but I'm just saying it triggered memories for me. And so I decided, you know what? I'm going to talk about that tonight. That wasn't my original topic. But I thought that is where the Spirit led me to talk about. So guys, I pray that you all have a productive day whenever you watch this, if it's a productive night, whatever it is, and consider what I said. I think it has a lot of sense in it, so consider what I said. Don't just go around and wildly talk about people and accuse people of doing this and accuse people of doing that, and nice people name and reputation you're playing with. And if you would have done that wrongfully, no, we're never too big to apologize. So guys, God bless you and cause his face to shine upon you and keep you safe in these days we live now. So take care until we meet again. Bye.